Hello and welcome to another episode of Ringside Fracas. I'm your host Naeem, and today, with this big fight week that's approaching us, of course I had to get the regulars on. Chris, big fight week. We're here. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm just waiting, ready, and prepared to see these fights, man. A lot of legacies to be decided, so it'll be an interesting weekend.
And Sams, it's a stacked Saturday. How are you feeling for this weekend?
Yeah, man. It's an A1 fight in the day. It's two class operators, so excited for this one.
Yeah, there's a lot to get through today because unfortunately, with the way boxing goes, sometimes they put everything into one week rather than spacing out. But we're going to enjoy it. We're going to take it out as it is, and we're going to get into all of it. And of course, we got to go into the biggest fight of the weekend, one of the biggest fights of 2026 at the moment. Teofimo Lopez defending his WBO super lightweight title against three division champion Shakur Stevenson. This is a fight between two pound for pound level fighters, two top fighters who've been touted since the moment they began boxing. They've been known as the guys to take over the sport. They're here. They've built a legacy, and they're here trying to create their own era and rubber stamp themselves, especially after the Terence Crawford era. They're here now to make their names. What a fight we've got on Saturday night. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Let's just get straight into it. Chris, how is this fight going to go? We've been talking about the Four Kings for, I think, now for the last like 5 years at the minimum. Teofimo, Shakur, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. Obviously, you can add Tank to that as well. But finally, we're getting this fight between Teofimo versus Shakur. It's one of the biggest fights, one of the best fights, in my opinion, that you could make out of that combination. We're finally here. How do you feel for this fight?
I mean, I think first thing to say is we've been talking for ages how important it is to make these fights when they can happen, like not waiting around for the perfect opportunity to make these fights. And because of that, because of the waiting around, we've already seen that we're not going to get all of these fights happen. It's just not going to happen. And it's a shame on that front. But the positive we're looking at is at least we're getting this fight. And I think stylistically, it's probably the most intriguing one of the lot, in my opinion. Both very, very talented boxers, both highly skilled. Obviously, one is more defensively responsible, almost like a defensive master. One is very, very unorthodox, very offensive, very athletic. So it'll be an interesting matchup. Um, but I think for me personally, in terms of determining who's going to win this fight, I've always stuck with Shakur Stevenson winning this fight. Um, there's loads of reasons. It's still obviously a very closely contested fight, but for me, when I look at how how good he was as an amateur, the styles he's probably seen, the experiences he's had, training and sparring with all of these top guys. Even when I watch his sparring with a lot of these other top guys, he's always looked in control. He's never really looked out of his element. The only thing that has really been, a dent in his boxing identity is just the amount of volume and the amount of work he does. A lot of people obviously say he's boring, doesn't throw enough, doesn't do enough. And I think for this fight, we're going to see a slightly different Shakur Stevenson. I think he's going to be a lot more offensive in this fight. I think he has to be. Um, Tio, obviously extremely athletic. He's going to be able to. I think he's going to be able to land a lot of shots on Shakur Stevenson, maybe more than he'd usually be hit with. But I just don't think it's going to be enough. Um, both of them seem game, both of them seem ready. But I don't know. When I look at Shakur Stevenson and the way he's been speaking and the way he's been acting, he seems so sure of himself that I believe him. Do you know what I mean? I actually believe what he's saying. And I think for me, I feel like he's going to win the fight. I think he's just too slick. He's in the prime of his career. Um, Theo obviously has had very, very difficult fights in the past where he's not really looked so good. And I feel like Shakur would have studied that and he'll probably take advantage of a few of those things. So, but either way, it's still closely contested. I have it more of a 60-40 in terms of balance. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I agree. The only caveat I'll just say there is, of course, yeah, Shakur looks really locked in, and it looks like he's maturing in this part of his career to becoming a more all-rounded fighter, not just being a back foot defensive fighter. But the problem with Teofimo is he's so mentally unstable. I don't mean this in a bad way, but he's so unstable. It's hard to gauge body language and whatever he says with him because I remember coming into the Josh Taylor fight, a lot of people had him losing, and rightly so. He didn't look good. And obviously, Josh Taylor and Shakur are completely different fighters. But the stuff he was saying, the way he was acting, people like he might fall apart in the ring, and he locked in and put in one of the best performances we've seen in a while and really dominated Josh Taylor. So it's hard to gauge with Teofimo. I didn't expect him to even. I thought he would struggle against Arnold Barboza, and he beat Arnold Barboza and looked quite good doing that as well. So he's also got moments where he pulls it out of the bag. The George Kambosos fight is one thing that will always kind of haunt his career, where everyone kind of knows he should have won that fight.
Yeah.
And it's a case of overlooking your opponent and not really locking in as much. But beyond that, he's been clutch when he's needed to be. The only issues is the stylistic part of it, like the Jermaine Ortiz's, like the Sandor Martins. When the style's tricky, he struggles to then think of things new. So it's hard. Sometimes it can be hard to gauge. But you're right about the stylistic matchup and how Shakur's looked. Because mentally, I feel like Shakur's been maturing, like you said. Samps, like Chris said at the beginning of the podcast, legacies are being made. Whose legacy is going to be made and whose legacy is going to be crushed come Saturday night?
See, now I've really hesitated to make a prediction because I know what I want to happen, what I expect to happen, but there's a side of me that's also saying, like it just cause like in the back of my mind, I'm like, if Tio shows up, yeah, and we don't get the crazy Tio, but we get the Tio that's the athletically gifted and, to be honest with you, a super talented fighter, what happens then? If because on the right now, we've seen Tio be absolutely spectacular. We've never seen Shakur in against like that A1 level of opponent. Shakur is an A1 opponent for sure, yeah, and he absolutely on paper should beat Tio, and that would be your obvious pick, yeah. So it's safe to say that if I was to make a prediction, just go black and white, so forth, so forth, so forth. I'll say yeah, Shakur wins the fight. He probably outpoints him, and makes him look quite silly in doing so. However, if that version of Tio comes in, the one that versus Loma, the one that versus Josh Taylor, it gets very interesting to see. Basically, the way I look at it, I'm trying to summarize this here, is how great is Shakur and does Shakur actually live up to what we expect it to live up to be? If he does, then we say that Shakur is the great and he's exactly who we thought he was. And if he doesn't, then Tio could smoke him. It's just that simple. Tio could actually smoke him. So yeah, I'm gonna say on paper, like being logical, Shakur wins. If Tio shows up, it gets real dicey.
Yeah.
So
One thing basically, but one thing I'd ask you is, did this fight come at the right time for both men?
Potentially, yeah, you could say so. Yeah, it's a good fight at a good time because it's an acid test, isn't it? It's a real acid test for both fighters, in fact, because really and truly we question Tio and whether Tio's temperament and how consistent he can be. So people have that because he's so in this he flips up and down. We're not quite sure. We know he can be great, but also that he can really get unstuck with a certain style, or just he's mental. With Shakur, we believe Shakur's a great. We can see he's got all the talent to be a great, but we also see him against a Padley and think, you should be dealing with this guy, and you're not quite looking like the star we expect you to be. Or because he gets Zepeda, I think, yeah, that's everything we believe you should be. But at the same time, Zepeda kind of was limited at the same time. So it's a good acid test for both people. It's definitely a right time fight where we get to decide out of the four kings who pushes on. Well, the four kings is really dwindled down, to be honest with you. But yeah, like it's a great acid test, great timing, and they're both essentially in their prime. It's now or never, really and truly, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think this is not too late, not too early. They're both kind of at their peaks of the peaks of their career, in terms of they're at a high. If it goes any higher, we're yet to see for both of them. They're both talented. Even if whoever loses, they're going to go on to win more. I mean, for being honest, a guy like Teofimo, if he loses to Shakur, he'll win a world title at 140 again. It's not out of the realms of
Yeah,
possibility,
facts.
especially when you got guys
Yeah,
like.
facts.
And this is not throwing shade. I mean, a great win to Dalton Smith. I mean, he's a good boxer, and that win against Matthias was amazing. But you got, obviously Dalton Smith with the WBC title. You've got who's got the IBF? Richard Hitchens. Who's got the WBA? I think it is Gary Antoine Russell. Good fights and fighters that Tio can definitely beat. And so and Shakur, he's going to go back to 135 anyway after this fight. He said that. So he's got loads of fights there where he can pick up titles. He can fight Abdullah Mason. He can fight I forgot has the WBA title. Where's the IBF? 135. Oh, Murtazaliev. He can fight Murtazaliev and beat him. And Murtazaliev is coming off a great win against Andy Cruz. But those are fights he can win. You can definitely see Shakur and Tio winning. Which is what makes this fight so good, is as long as the two stay in contention, they're going to win world titles. And so that's what makes this fight even more intriguing, is you're not expecting the other to fall off a cliff. You're expecting them to still keep a consistent level throughout their careers. And they're still at a good time in both of their careers. And that's what makes it so exciting. It's not the biggest contrast of styles. We've seen a bigger contrast when it comes to obviously pressure fighters and back foot boxers. But one thing we've seen is we've definitely seen people Tio struggle with movers. The Sandor Martin fight and the Jermaine Ortiz are the two fights that come to mind. Two fights he lost. I have to say it that way. I gave them 7-5 to the other fighter. If you thought it was a draw, he won. Fair enough. I can't really argue. I just didn't see it. But I saw loads of issues there. And one big issue is he struggles to cut off the ring properly when he has to be the one coming forward. He doesn't know how to set up his punches properly when coming forward. He's a better counter puncher and reactive fighter. And sometimes he can run out of ideas, and it becomes easy to make him run out of ideas. He doesn't get dominated, or he doesn't have these big defensive flaws. He can be hit at times, and he can be a bit irresponsible, but he's kind of there always. It's just sometimes trying to think going forward isn't his best game, especially at the top level. So I can definitely see this fight being a bit, for casual, boring, and for us a bit more tactical, where they're both trying to look for the counters more than trying to press the action. I think that's where Tio will kind of benefit, because I think athletically and in terms of speed, Tio I think is just faster than Shakur. Even though Shakur is fast, I think Tio is the faster one, more explosive, more athletic, and he'll definitely get counters off from Shakur, because I think I've seen a change in Shakur's game where he wants to be able to hold his feet more and counter, because he's seen that a lot of times in his previous fights where he's on the back foot and defensively he's making everyone miss and he's making them catch on the gloves, but he's just not being quick enough to catch and shoot. He's missing loads of opportunities to catch and shoot. I think we'll see it more often here, and he'll definitely catch Tio. One aspect that we'll have to look at is you don't have to have the power to hurt Tio, but something to make him think. Because if you can't make him think or make him off balance, he'll keep coming forward. Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz had enough power to get him off balance and make him think. I wonder if Shakur has that, and that's a big factor for him that will go into most of his fights, whatever fights he's going to have in his careers. Do you at least have the power to make the other guy think? You don't have to be a knockout puncher or anything, but just have enough power, speed, or timing just to get the other guy on the back foot. And it's going to be interesting to see if he's got that, because this is where a guy like Tio will keep coming forward if he needs to. But I'm so excited. I've been waiting for a fight like this for years. It's finally here. I'm going with Shakur. I think Shakur will be able to just about get it done. I just think even if things are going worse for Shakur in terms of like his tactics aren't getting off, he can just revert to type, and that should just make Tio struggle to come forward. But it wouldn't surprise me Tio getting the win. I'm not trying to be on the fence here, but it's like Teofimo is the type of guy you can never predict. I didn't expect him to beat Barboza. I expect him to struggle. Or at least if he beat Barboza, it wasn't going to be the way he did, and he did it. And so I've got to give him his credit. He's come a long way since. So I got to give him his credit. I can't wait. MSG New York is going to be so exciting. Sams, I got a question for you. Given obviously Shakur has his issues, not Shakur, Tank has his issues, and he needs to get through his legal issues and whatnot. But should the winner, if Tank gets through whatever he gets through, and we shouldn't really be talking about it, but I'm kind of curious, if the winner gets through this, should that be an automatic fight that people should be thinking about, is getting Tank involved with the winner of this?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
What would be an ideal fight in your mind next then?
Tank is cooked. Tank is done. Tank is Broner. I don't ever want to consider that guy, man. He's Broner right here, like another Broner. So we can't really put him in the mix because he's cooked. And I'm sad to say it, but the Broner genes kicked in again. So just leave him out of it.
AB.
Who was? I can't remember. Who was the other? So we had the Kings were. First, I think Haney comes up. Yeah, Haney comes up. It's got to be Haney.
Yeah, Haney's already at 147, so you'd say the winner goes up to one. So if Teo wins, then Teo should go up to 147 for Haney.
Yeah, but I don't. I feel like they'll probably catch like either they catch weight it or whatever. It's a super fight, isn't it? So at the end of the day, so when they go to super fights, they figure out weights, don't they? So
even
so
you've got Ryan Garcia as well.
Garcia,
Barris, yeah.
You got to super fight it, and you got to find some sort of middle ground, and the money will be on the table, and they're all gonna get paid handsomely. They'll find a way between them that gets that super fight going. But that's what it's got to be.
And of course, because we've got the Shakur fight, we've got say it loud. I'll mute you and then come back to it. Yeah. This guy's coming from football. So. Yeah, no, I agree. I think especially the implications for this fight are quite big in terms of, we talked about like legacy, but also there are big fights on the horizon. Like Teo can dominate at 140. He's got fights with the other champions there that he could definitely dominate, especially if he wins this. He's got Turkey at the palm of his hand, basically. And Shakur goes back to 135, got so many fights there that he can take on. But then there's also the four kings. There's also, the Haneys and the Garcias they could take on. It wouldn't take much for one of those fighters to come up and fight, because again the money on offer would just be too much. But of course we've got the Shakur super fan Jide, who backing Shakur since day one. How are you feeling for this Saturday? You're muted.
You hear me?
Yeah.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, listen, I heard Tank, that pea shooter. Been saying it for years. I'm glad Samson's there. Samson, that's your boy. He's washed.
Am I bugging out? Is he still muted?
No, he's not muted.
I'm not muted, bro. You can't hear me. You're filtering me out. You're filtering me out. Yeah? Tank is trash. I've been saying it for years and I'm vindicated. All the guy knows how to do is beat up on weak fighters and women. That's all he knows. He has no power. Yeah? Washed. But anyway, back to some real fighters. Shakur's gonna win this. You do your MD. Teo has to force the fight. Well, Samson's gonna look at it. Coward. But no, I'm joking. But
he had to go early, I think so, yeah.
Shakur's gonna win this fight. I've been looking at the fight going back and forth, and then I'll be seeing Teo's looking good in this training. But ultimately, watch the Sandor Martin fight. I feel like everyone says that's Teo not fighting because he's fighting his opposition's trash. Bro, he didn't know what to do with a guy that was refusing to force the fight. And Shakur's that kind of guy. He's more than willing to just let the rounds go by. Like, he's that type of guy. He's more than willing to let the rounds go by, pot shot, land some clean ones, make you look stupid. Teo has to force the fight. If Shakur's the one that's forcing the fight, Teo's winning. And the thing about Teo is Teo's got power. I know Teo's knockout percentage isn't high, but he's got that sort of power that guys don't want to, like, go in. Look at Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor tried to do all that gambling and rushing him, then you saw what he done to him. So I don't see Shakur doing that. I see Shakur keeping range. He's probably got the best range management in boxing right now. Maybe him and Usyk, but yeah, Shakur's probably got the best range management in boxing right now. He's always balanced. He throws clean, crisp shots. His check left hook is great. And yeah, I don't I just don't see Teo winning this. Honestly. Teo can catch him. I reckon Teo can definitely catch him. Teo can hurt him. But the problem is Teo has to be the one to force the fight. And I've never seen Teo be good on the front foot. Never, ever. Not once. There's not one fight I've seen Teo do well on the front foot. Even the fights he's winning, he doesn't look great when he's attacking them. Like, it's like he stalks you and counter punches off stalking you. It's like he puts pressure on you, you throw, then he makes you look stupid, then he like knocks your block off. Like Teo's an elite counter puncher, but when he has to be the one to force the fight, it's just not his bag. So I see Shakur winning this. That's my guy. Hey, I bought Shakur stocks early. Guys were talking crazy. He is the best fighter in boxing outside of Usyk right now. I'm telling you, right now, he is the best. And he's going to prove it. He's going to beat Teo. Then none of them other guys are going to want to fight him because, oh, he don't sell. He ain't got, he don't sell. No pay-per-view. All that bullshit excuses. That's what's going to happen. That's why Tank ducked him. And that's why all these guys don't really want that smoke. I promise you, Shakur's going to win. I think he's going to stay at 140 because, yeah, he's small, but, bro, he's 28 years old. He's not going to get easier to make those 135s as easy as he did. I think he's going to stay at 140. You have that bum Keyshawn Davis, who's his boy, dancing because Cruz lost. So he's not gonna want to fight him. They're not gonna really fight. So yeah, man, I see Teo doing this thing at 140, and then maybe in 2 or 3 years trying to thing at 147, which I don't think he should do. I don't think he hits hard enough for that weight class. But 147 is trash right now. It might change in a few years when a few more than 140 guys go up there. But yeah, man, I see Shakur dominating the next 5 years in boxing, man, and it will start from that fight with Teo.
Well summed up.
Don't forget they're trying to do the Conor Ben thing after, innit? I think that's the route that they're not taking.
Yeah, he's there now in New York. He's at the press conferences and everything. So yeah, that's an angle.
Hey, Naeem. No, okay, I can't hear you, bro.
Can't you? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can. That's happened to me earlier. I had to come back in.
Chris, can you hear me?
Okay, let me come out.
I can hear you.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, that's one aspect is they're looking at Conor Ben. Obviously, Conor Ben, they're exploring multiple avenues. I think the most likeliest avenue is obviously Barrios and Garcia winner if it's Ryan Garcia, because I think Ben Garcia would make a lot of money for them, especially if it's for a world title. But yeah, Shakur, Conor Ben is one aspect that they're looking at. Like we said, there's loads of implications when it comes to this fight, and there's a lot on the line for both fighters. So it's going to be so fun to watch. I can't wait. I'm excited. I think we've got a majority Shakur crowd. Obviously, Sam's is kind of reserving his predictions, and understandably, it is a tough fight to predict. But yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait. And the undercard is quite good. Before you go, Sam, so I want to get your thoughts. So the undercard, the first fight I want to talk about is obviously, as Jide mentioned, Shakur Stevenson. Not Shakur Stevenson. Keyshawn Davis. Why did I say Shakur? Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis is someone we've all backed, I think, since he's come up from the Olympics. We were watching his Olympic fights in 2021, and we were saying that he'd be one of the guys to look at when he's a pro. We were watching his fights since. I think in the last year, opinions have changed on Keyshawn Davis, not due to his antics in the ring, but mostly due to his antics outside the ring. Samps, your thoughts on how things have transpired. Sorry, where's my English? For Keyshawn Davis since in the last year, and how he's acted since. Can you hear me, Samps? Hello? Nope. Samson's there. Chris, I'll come to you first while Sam sorts that out.
Right.
Your thoughts on how the last year's unfolded?
If I'm being honest, I feel like Keyshawn Davis has just made a mockery of himself. He's painted himself in the worst light imaginable. He's been given so many chances, from smoking weed to, just his general behavior. And it's gotten to a point, especially with the Andy Cruz loss, where he's just become completely unlikable to the point where I think he's almost beyond redemption in the eyes of many, because there's nothing worse than, you know, a fighter celebrating the loss of another fighter that he's got nothing to do with. Do you know what I mean? This guy beat you up in the amateurs multiple times and you never got revenge. You're out here talking about how he was, you know, he's this level of fighter and he was never that good and blah 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 blah. But you didn't do it. You're trying to get praise off another man's victory. It just makes you look worse. And yeah, for me, it's just such a bad look. Yeah, man. I hope I'll be rooting against him if I'm being honest with you. I'll be rooting against him. Let me tell the truth.
No, I understand it. I mean, for me, even that was weird, and it's annoying to see. Like when Devin did it against Teo losing, it's weird because in my eyes, as always, it should be you're the fighter. You should want to take that their undefeated record and beat them. But it's also like, you know, there's a lot of investment being put into him from fans, from the networks, from trainers, everything, and they're trying to make him a star. And then when he has another main event fight against Edwin De Los Santos, comes in overweight, doesn't really have any remorse about it, messed it up for all the fans that came out, that bought tickets and came out to watch him, and got that event cancelled. Got the fight pulled out, and didn't show any remorse towards it. Then started talking about he's retiring, started being weird. Like, to me, he's got all the talents to be a top fighter, and he's shown that. It's just, I need to look at the mental side of things. And if you're showing this type of behavior, I don't know whether or not you're going to carry on in this sport properly.
Yeah.
Are we going to have like you say, are we going to have another AB situation where you're just going to spiral out as soon as things get done? Because, you know, we can say whatever we want about AB in terms of his skill. I think it's quite clear to most people he could have achieved more in the sport had he locked in. It's no one's here saying he's going to be he'd be the greatest or whatever, but he could have achieved more. He achieved a lot, but when you could achieve
I was
more,
just to say that he still was a 4-time world champion or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is the fact that you could have achieved more tells you a lot. And I think for me, that's the most disappointing thing, even as a human, when you look at yourself and you kind of go, I could have done more here, but I didn't. And so that's why I'm kind of like on the fence with Keyshawn. I think he beats Jermaine Ortiz. I think Jermaine Ortiz is a hard fight to come back to. He's athletic. He knows how to box. He knows how to be in there. But Keyshawn's that guy. When the timing's there, the skills are there, he puts the punches together, there's no one better than him. But
I need
just have to
Keyshawn
see
to lose.
mentally.
I need
What'd
him
you say?
to lose. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, it's a bit muffled, but yeah, it's fine.
I said I want Keyshawn to lose. I want him to lose. I want him to lose. I want him to get beat up because I hate that shit, like Chris said. And all that, even AB being a 4-time world champion is fake. It's like Tank being a 3-time world champion. It's fake.
This guy had to go back to Tank.
in this era, like these guys, bro, anyone could be world champion. But Keyshawn, I need him to lose. He's probably not gonna lose. But when he loses, he's made a massive hate in me. I used to be a big fan. I was a big Keyshawn fan because he's one of the guys that bum was ducking. But ultimately, when you're so happy to see the guy, you're not even rivals like that. When Andy Cruz talks about you, he don't even rate you. He talks about you like you're his son, like he's someone you beat you all the time. And instead of you trying to be like, you know what, I want to get that fight because I know I'm better than him. I know in the pros, 12 rounds, 10-ounce gloves, I can beat him up. Instead of being that guy, you're like, nah, he don't make no money. There's nothing in that fight. He's not on my level. He can't beat anyone. Then he goes and tries. Murtazaliev's a good fighter. Obviously, we all thought he's not going to win that fight, but he was a good fighter. And he wins. And instead of being like, you know what, Andy Cruz, you tried. It was a tough fight. You could have get it back so we can fight. You're out here dancing, sending memes and videos of you dancing to another man losing. He's developed a massive hate in me. My hate shifted because Tank's already, I've won that war. Now I've got a new hater. Keyshawn, you're next. You've made a hater for life in me, boy. So, boy, you better keep winning because when he loses, I'm going to be so happy.
Sam, so I was going to come to you. Have you shifted your mentality on Keyshawn in the last year?
I can't lie. for once, me and Jilly are actually in unison. I don't care enough for him to, but I don't care enough for him to want him to lose. But to be honest with you, I think he's gonna soften his blood anyway. You have to remember the guy actually has mental health issues. The guy was in a mental home, innit? Yeah, and to me, he's kind of everything that he showed and displayed in that whole debacle of his homecoming fight, yeah, was like the start of what we now see as a telltale sign of a fight. He's just not gonna make it. Do you know what I mean? Like even the little stuff I've seen of him training with his new training team, he don't look good to me. I'm sorry, he just doesn't. And I see a bunch of yes men, and I'm like, he doesn't look sharp. Like he doesn't look. I can see straight away. Like, and the thing is, I know I've been a bit critical in terms of like, what's Bob McCree done outside of Crawford, because with Khan.
Oh, come on.
Khan and Eubank. No, wait, follow me here. With Khan and Eubank and so forth. But I do think Bomack's a good trainer, and seeing Keyshawn outside of Bomack I'm looking at him thinking, this might end up being a banana skin on Saturday, but we'll see in it.
I agree. I think a lot of comparisons I was giving Keyshawn, especially when he's going up, is he looked like a young Crawford in his style, and I thought the Bomack training with Bomack is then the perfect environment for him to become a more seasoned fighter and more all-rounded fighter. So yeah, him leaving that setup was weird. But I agree with most of you lot. Like, I don't care if he loses or not, but me, the main thing is you're not taking this as seriously as you should. And especially the fact that you didn't show any remorse when you missed weight and you messed up a fight, because people don't realize the economics of boxing. If the main event gets pulled or cancelled, a lot of undercard fighters lose the food on their plates, especially if that entire card gets pulled, because they don't have any other fights till like the next month or whatever, and that's what's going to put money on the table. It might not affect Keyshawn, where he's calm, and he probably is calm even if the fight gets pulled. But there are other undercard fighters that depend on you to make it to your fight so they can make money. And there was no remorse from him from missing weight. There was no like, oh, I messed up, hands up, missed weight, hands up. He was happy about it. He didn't care. He was talking nonsense about retiring, doing this and that. And I'm like, you have to watch yourself in this type of sport, because you have a level of responsibility and you got to understand that. Like, there's a reason now he's on the undercard of Teo Shakur and he's not just main eventing his own fights, because no one trusts him, and no one should. You've taken away that trust. Trust is easy to just take away. It's fragile, especially when it comes to networks. Look how tough the network game is when it comes to boxing. Top Rank don't have a network deal. Golden Boy just today announced they're going to Swerve TV. Matchroom and DAZN isn't really the big. Matchroom, Queensbury, and DAZN isn't the biggest thing, to the point where Queensbury's biggest star and Matchroom's biggest star are all on Netflix. So you're not helping, and the worst part is you don't care about it. So that's the only thing I have against Keyshawn. But I expect him to win. I think this is a banana skin, but I think he'll lock in enough to get this done. He just won't look the way he normally does. But yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm excited to watch it, because I want to see what happens, because Jermaine Ortiz also deserves a big shot. He's been trying to get his name back in after the Teo fights, after the Loma fights, and this is his way kind of back into that mainstream. So it'll be fun. Another fight on the undercard is we've got Carlos Adames coming off that robbery against Shiraz. Look, I'm a Shiraz fan, but I know Carlos Adames won that fight quite clearly. And he's fighting a former Shiraz opponent, Ammo Williams, who's built himself back up towards the title shot. I genuinely think that's going to be one of the probably most violent and funnest fights on the card, because both guys are very super athletic, but also they love coming forward. They unload combinations to body and head. They work quite hard in fights, and they just go at fighting. I'm excited. I think Adames is going to be cleaner. I think he's the more technical boxer out of the two. I think that's going to get him over the line. He might even stop Ammo. I'm expecting Adames to win by decision, but he could even hurt and stop Ammo. But that's a fun fight to watch out for, especially Carlos Adames. I got to give him his credit. Like, he needs to do more work because he's quite inactive, but the guy can fight. Like, he's fun to watch and he can fight. And that's the one thing I got to give him credit is he can do all aspects of boxing quite well. And had Janibek not messed up with that PD test, I was really excited for them to kind of scrap. So it's quite disappointing that obviously that didn't happen. Chris, how are you feeling for that? Are you excited to see Carlos Adames back in the ring?
I like him, man. I think he's a tricky operator. He's gonna want to prove himself again, just because of the robbery. And I feel like when something like that happens, and because of the way the media portrayed it and quickly moved past it, I feel like it's easy for people to think that his performance was a fluke. So I think he's got a lot of reason to really show out. But I like the Dummies. I think he's a steady fighter, he's a decent fighter, hardworking, entertaining also. He gets stuck in there. So yeah, I do expect him to win. I know it's gonna be a more difficult fight, but I'm still expecting him to get the victory on the night.
Sabs, did Adamas win you over on that Better BF Bivol card? And have you become a fan? Is this a fight you're looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, to be honest with you, I don't think I really watched him that much prior to the Hamza fight. So, and I didn't think Hamza would have any issues with him. Obviously, to be honest with you, so I thought, yeah, it would be like quite routine win. So, then obviously watching how he handled Hamza, and as far as concerned, and everyone knows he beat Hamza, but he didn't just beat Hamza like on a rough man thing. He actually just outskilled him. Like, he was just catching shots or slipping shots. He was very technical in there in terms of and how he was going about his work. And again, we see how Ammo performs, and Ammo's like a very fan-friendly fighter because he comes in swinging, essentially. So yeah, no, it makes for a good fight. It will definitely be one that probably might if you are casual, that's one that's gonna that can be more of an entertaining fight to watch for sure.
Jide, this middleweight fight, one of the fights to watch out for?
Yeah, man. Like you guys have said already, Carlos Adames is quite good. He's actually very technical. Got rubbed against Hamza, but I think he outslicks Ammo. Probably, I don't want to say he makes Ammo quit. I don't want to say Ammo quit, but I just think he just completely outboxes him to the point where he could stop him late. That is what I'm calling. I feel like because Ammo's gonna go out there, all guns blazing, gonna blow his gasket, and then late he's just not gonna have anything. And I reckon Adames is just gonna keep wailing on him. So I feel like it's probably gonna be a stoppage. It's gonna be a fun fight, but yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's a chance for him to kind of make his name and use a big undercard to try big himself up. So good. Before I move on to the other fights on the undercard, I thought I might as well come on to the other main fight.
Oh, sorry, is Amma still with Matchroom?
I think so. Yeah. His last two was on Matchroom. I don't know if it's still on it, but he should still be on it. Yeah.
Cool. It just makes me laugh every time I remember that diss track that he did for Eddie.
Right. It makes me laugh that he brought a tail to Saudi Arabia. The guy it wasn't Saudi. He actually wore a tail. Before I get on to the other undercard fights, because there are actually quite some good undercard fights on the Teo Shakur fight. There's another main fight we need to talk about first, and we get that out of the way. Obviously, in the UK, there's a big fight on the horizon this weekend. You've also got Bahram Murtazaliev making his comeback after destroying Tim Tszyu in 3 rounds to fight Josh Kelly for the IBF 154 title. It's Josh Kelly's first world title shot. He's been at the 154 for 4 years, and finally he's got a world title shot. He's been titled for years, since before the Avanesian fight, as someone that was probably going to win the world title because he could throw 4 left hooks in a row. But here he's fighting a monster in Bahram Murtazaliev, who has somewhat become a kind of boogeyman, who doesn't make a lot of money, so can't really get a lot of fights because he's a tough fight to take on. But this is interesting. It's in Newcastle. It's in Josh Kelly's back home. It's kind of all set up for Kelly to try get the win here and become Britain's 6th world champion. We're getting more world champions now, and it's kind of addressing an issue we spoke about months ago about Britain not having enough world champions. Sams, you've obviously known about Kelly for quite a while. Is this the time he lives up to the hype and becomes a world champion and fulfills his destiny?
Boy. As much as I was a Josh Kelly fan, and Josh Kelly was like literally when obviously Olympian, At the time, I had all the stocks from the guy. I had to upload some of the stocks, so we don't know. I don't know what version of Kelly we get, and realistically, I think it's a hard fight that Kelly can come unstuck, and we've seen him against Avanesian and all those kind of tricky operators that actually go and stick on him. The cute stuff is great, but it doesn't work against the guys that are gonna fuck it out. Kelly hasn't been able to have the right enough output or enough mustard to keep you honest. So realistically, I hope so. But if you ask me that black and white, who I'm betting on, I would have bet on Kelly.
No, fair enough. Jide, is Josh Kelly someone we got to watch out for this weekend? Is he going to become Britain's 6th world champion?
No, like Samson, I used to be a fan of Josh Kelly. All them highlights of the fake Roy Jones stuff used to get me gassed, man. I remember back in the day we used to talk about it. I don't know if Chris remembers Josh Kelly and Josh Taylor, who was the better Josh. All that jazz. But yeah, man, the guys them not calling him a bum, but he's just not that guy, man. His issue is he gets tired. 12-round fights, I feel like, again, these really hyper-athletic guys, they just don't do well in 12-round fights against, like you said, guys that plug it out. And he's going to fight, like he's not getting any younger, and he's going to fight a man who's going to stick it on him. Like, there's no bells and whistles with what Murtazaliev, I can't even say his name, with what he does, but he's right in front of you. He throws his hooks well, throws his shots well. He hits hard. He's strong. He takes a good shot, and he's just gonna always be there for 12 rounds. And I see Josh Kelly folding again. It'll be what he can do is if he can survive 12 rounds, he wins. I feel like it's set up for him to win. They're gonna rob my man if he survives 12 rounds, because Josh Kelly will throw them pitty patties, them like you said, 3 left hooks from like out of nowhere. He's gonna do all that jazz, all that flashy stuff. I mean, the real work's gonna be coming from the other side. So if he can do that and last 12 rounds, he wins. But I just don't think he can. I think he gets stopped. So yeah.
Chris, is it the homecoming for Josh Kelly, or Murtazaliev finally gets a win?
Mate, I really don't know, if I'm being honest with you. Obviously, we know Josh Kelly quite well. We know about his antics, slippery head movement back in the day until, he started getting caught. I think he's improved now. He's a lot more technically sound, but it's just looking stylistically, mate, Murtazaliev he just looks like he doesn't care about antics. He doesn't care about gimmicks. He just looks like he's going to throw until he hurts Josh Kelly. And I'm not so sure Josh Kelly's got the resilience to stick it through to the end. I'm not sure. I would like Josh Kelly to win, of course. But I do feel like he's a bit of an underdog at the moment. So if I was to predict, just based on what I've seen of both fighters, I'll go Murtazaliev, but I do want Josh Kelly to win. And I think he's got a chance of winning. He just has to be very good on the night.
No, I agree. I think there's 2 problems for both fighters. I think with Josh Kelly, it's you haven't fought anyone better than Avanesian in terms of levels. Your best wins have come at domestic level. Troy Williamson, Ishmael Davis, and even in those fights that are quite long, it takes 12 rounds, you've tapered off in the end and you struggle to keep up with them. And Murtazaliev is a guy who is still at consistently world level. Like, you may not rate Tim Tszyu, but to destroy Tim Tszyu in the way he did was unprecedented. Like he really beat the soul out of Tim Tszyu. And Jack Corke, before that, he knocked out Jack Corke, and I watched that fight live, I remember, in Germany. He's beatable, Murtazaliev. He is beatable. To me, he's not like a boogeyman that, like, he's this elite fighter. He still has a lot to prove. And he's been out since the Tszyu fight. Remember, the Tszyu fight was back in September 2024. So it's been over a year since he's been back in the ring because no one's wanted to fight him. And he's finally managed to get a fight. So that goes against Murtazaliev. And he's beatable and he's drained. If you look at any of the fight media, you'll see his cheekbones are coming out. He's struggling to make this weight properly. And Josh Kelly can definitely use that to his advantage, because this is a guy that might be lethargic in the ring, that might not be able to, do all 12 rounds at the pace that he normally does it at. And Josh Kelly can take those advantages. The problem with Josh Kelly is, anytime we've seen him in a fight which requires a high pace to be fought, he struggles and he tapers off at the end. Avanesian was the only fight where Avanesian was taking it to him, to the body shots and everything, where he tapered off towards round 6 and he was just getting battered. Ishmael Davis, if you rewatch that fight, I think it was on the Joshua Dubois undercard. He got battered in the 12th round. Not battered, but he was getting beat up in the 12th round and he was struggling to hold on. Obviously, I don't think he was going to get knocked out, but that's a fight like, if it went 15 rounds, he would have got stopped by then. Like, he doesn't have the best gas tank because of the way he fights. And my kind of thought has always been with most fighters is, if you fight at a certain level and you're kind of used to it, when you step up, it's hard to make that jump. It's very rare you see fighters put in the best performances of their career if there hasn't been a kind of in between. There is a big gap between fighting the likes of Ishmael Davis and Troy Williamson and then fighting Murtazaliev. Again, he's not elite, but he's still world level. So you're gonna have to put in one of the best performances you've ever had, better than any performance you've already put in. So it is intriguing. It is intriguing, like you guys say, because when it first was made, I thought Murtazaliev probably stops him. I'm seeing Fight Week now. I'm saying Kelly's got a chance. There's definitely a chance, but I'm still gonna go with what I think. I think Murtazaliev's style doesn't require him to be as sharp, and he hits quite hard. And because Josh Kelly's Josh Kelly, when you have those habits, they're gonna show out in fights. Your hands being down, that left hook is coming across your face and putting you down. Like, if your hands are going to be down the way his are down, and you're going to get tired, you're going to get caught. And Murtazaliev, I'm not. I know he knows what's in front of him, and I think he'll systematically break him down and probably stop him or get the decision. But it's a good fight in terms of competition. I think Murtazaliev won't have it easy, but neither will Kelly. So I'm see how it goes. Another fight on the undercard of Teo Shakur is Bruce Carrington versus Carlos Castro. We're not going to go into too much detail because obviously it's just I'm quite surprised with Bruce Carrington. To me, he was always a prospect that people kind of hyped up, but he was never someone anyone kind of backed to be a world champion. But look at him now; he's WBC featherweight champion. He's making his first defense in a stacked division that's got loads of tough fighters, and obviously Inoue could be there if he gets to Nakatani. So lots on the fight. I just want to get your guys' thoughts. Do you guys think Carrington's someone people should watch out for, or there's still some ways to go before you kind of put stocks into him? Jide, I'll ask you first.
I think he's good. I think Bruce Carrington's good. Obviously, you can still improve and get better. But I think he's banking on getting the Inoue fight. I think most of them featherweights are, because that's the money fight, right? So they're hoping Inoue deals with Nakatani and comes up, and then they get that fight. And I think Bruce wants that fight. Not only because obviously it's the money fight, but I still feel like a lot of American fighters, as well as their fans, have this exceptionalism where they don't rate anyone who's rated outside of America. So for him, if he's the guy to stop or derail Inoue, it will be massive for him. So I think he'll be super motivated for that fight. And I think it'll be good because he's athletic. And like, we know Inoue gets hit, going up again in weight. These guys are bigger. It's going to be risky. So yeah, I think talking about the weekend fight, I think he wins. And I think he looks decent winning that fight. I don't think it's going to be a massive banana skin for him. And I think he's going to call out Inoue probably. I really believe so. Or he might call out Nick Ball. But yeah.
Chris, are you keeping your eye on that fight?
Like Jide said, man. I expect the easy win, and then I expect the call out, man. And I'd love to see. I don't want to be a hater, but I'd love to see someone like him take out Nick Ball. I'll be honest. That's just. I don't know what it is. I think Nick Ball's style just doesn't gel well with me and my spirit. So
he's not that good. He's so lucky that anyway, he got a gift against Ray Ford, and
I don't think he won that fight, man.
He didn't win it. He didn't win that fight.
I don't think he won that
fight. He's been there posing, chilling with the belt,
he's moved to Dubai because of the tax stuff. Listen, shout out to him. I wish I could, but I can't. But
Yeah.
yo, he's just.
Don't get me wrong. He's tough, and he's game, and he's got that drive that you need as a boxer. But I don't know. There's something about it where I don't feel like you can maintain that kind of vigor. I just don't think you can. I think as you get older and you take more beatings in the sport, and he's probably taken a lot of damage, through fights and training and whatnot. I don't feel you can maintain that same kind of energy that he has in fights. And I'm not gonna say what he might be doing, but anyway, let's get the win first, get the call out. Him anyway, whoever, hopefully Ball, but we'll take it from there.
I think if Inoue fights Ball, he puts him down like Marquez put down Pacquiao. Hard. I think Inoue is too smart for Nick Ball.
Timing, man.
Fam, he beats the crap out of him because Nick Ball don't hit hard. He's a volume guy. He just throws a lot of arm punches, and he just swarms you. He swarms you, and when you're fighting someone like Inoue who actually hits hard, and Nick Ball doesn't know any other thing but going forward, he's going to get stopped.
Yeah, Ford had him out of his feet, out of his feet, bro. Ford had him rocked. So.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sams, is Bruce Carrington someone that's been on your radar, or are you gonna use Saturday night to kind of see whether or not? Because I gotta give credit to the fighter he's fighting. Castro dropped Fulton, and I thought he beat Fulton last year. So Castro's not going to be easy for someone like Bruce Carrington. What's your thoughts on that fight, Sams? We can't hear you.
We've lost Samson again.
I think we lost him. All right, I'll come back to him. So there's that fight with the Bruce Carrington, and then Jarrell Miller, obviously on the undercard. I think the plan is for him probably is just to see what he does against Kingsley and Ibe, who he's fighting, and then from there see what what is on offer. Obviously, this week it was announced that Tyson Fury is back and he's fighting Arslanbek Mahmudov on Netflix, which is interesting, and we're going to talk about all the network stuff in the next episode once we've gotten through all the fights and whatnot, because it deserves its own episode. But Sams, is Jarrell Miller? Is Jarrell Miller someone you're thinking could have one more big fight in the big heavyweight stage, given that obviously Tyson Fury is back and it's kind of unclear where the direction is for most of the fighters there? Sams, you there? Okay, can't hear him. It's fine. I'll come back to Jide. Is Jarrell Miller someone you're expecting?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is Jarrell Miller someone you're expecting?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you, but I think there's something going on with the thing, but it's fine. I'll talk.
I can hear him. It's just,
but
can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but you guys can't hear me. You can hear me, but I can't hear you. Well, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you know what? Let me come back. I can't even remember the question.
Wait.
Let me come back.
Was he trying to answer something even though he can't hear us? All right, yeah. What's your thoughts? Do you think what do you think the path for Jarrell Miller could be this year?
I think he's got a really, really pivotal year or two, man. I feel like he's got a really, really pivotal year or two. I think he's got to look good today. I'm sorry, tomorrow, Saturday. He's got to look good. Hopefully he can get a stoppage. And then I feel like he's got options. People still remember that Ruiz performance and how he was robbed of the victory. So I think if he comes in decent shape, looks good, then he's got options. I mean, decent shape for Jarrell Miller, not for the average heavyweight boxer. But if he can look good, then I think, the heavyweight landscape is his oyster. I think he can pretty much fight everyone. I feel like he could. Bar Usyk, I think he could fight everyone else.
Mhm.
And yeah, he might not have the greatest account of himself, but I think Jarrell Miller is tough enough to make anyone. He can make fighters not look as good as they should be. I think he's got enough in him to do that. So I would like to see him fight. What are the options after this fight? I'm not sure. Maybe a Dubois rematch. I would have said the winner of Wilder Chisora. He's got options. I feel.
Yeah, Jide, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't believe you tried to do the pod without being able to hear us.
Bro, I tried to freestyle it, man.
But yeah, do you think there's a path back for Muller? And what would the path back be towards like the big names?
Clearly, there is, right? The fact that he's reconciled with Eddie just shows how shameless promoters are. After all that, I will never work with him again. Da, da, da. But listen, everyone does join. My issue with Miller wasn't the fact that he got busted with the peds, innit? My issue is he got busted twice. Like, you're taking the piss, bro.
I don't think it's
You're
twice. I think
taking.
it's multiple times.
Oh, no, yeah. When I say twice, I mean like when
I
they
think it's 3
found
times.
like
I think it's 3 times.
Yeah.
it's like you're not taking it serious. Like, sack your nutritionist and get on a proper cycle. Like, bro, yeah, we know 90% of these men do drugs, yeah, but you clearly don't care enough to hide it well. And to me, that's an issue. That shows lack of dedication. That's why you're fat. It just shows you're not taking your career as a boxer serious. And then obviously I'm an AJ fan, so him going at my boy when he's not even fighting you and you're just always going at him. It's just weird. But he's entertaining. Jerome Miller is entertaining no matter what people say. And he's never been, in my opinion, in a bad fight. Every Jerome Miller fight I've watched, I've enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there might be one that's bad that I can't remember, but in recent memory, it's all been entertaining. So, and I feel like he beat Ruiz. Most people
Yeah.
feel like he beat Ruiz. He got robbed. So I feel like he's going to win on Saturday. And then I hope he calls out Moses Italma. Because right now, I'm not liking how listen, I get it, Italma's a young prospect, but these man can't go from we're trying to make him the youngest heavyweight champion ever to now we're gonna give you Franklin and but like do these weird shit where Franklin clearly lost, but you robbed his opponent so you can set up this fight. It's like now you're doing this thing that I don't like. And I'm not saying I want him to fight Italma so Italma can get beat, but I think he's that litmus test where the same way as Dubois, it was Dubois' litmus test where Dubois was ready for the big guys. Then if Italma deals with rejuvenated Jerome Miller, then I'm like, yeah, you're next. Go fight Usyk. Go fight whoever's world champion, Caballero. All these guys, go after them. I think he can do it now, but we've never seen Italma go in with someone who's just going to be onto him, where all that speed and flash, none of that matters. You need to stop him. So I think that would be a big fight. And I feel like for him to take that fight would demand millions, and I think he will get it. That would be such an entertaining fight, Italma versus Miller. I just don't see Frank doing it. It's risky, but that's the sort of things I want to see after this fight. Like Chris said, the Dubois rematch would be great. I think that would be entertaining. But honestly, the heavyweight landscape, I think is healthy the moment you take out Usyk. But my issue is with all the, like you said, we're gonna speak on in the next episode with Netflix, a new player, with Zuffa Boxing, a new player. There's gonna be another Cold War. Turkey's not putting his money in as much. We're gonna get back to the mid to late 2010s where these guys weren't fighting each other. We're gonna get that again. And it's gonna suck. But yeah, man, that's where we're at.
No, perfectly summed up. And just because you said we do need to talk about Zuffa, but because they have a card this weekend on Sunday night, Zuffa Boxing, their second card again in the UFC Apex. So I think there's only like 500 seats at maximum. And on the card, you've got Jose Valenzuela versus Diego Torres. You've got Alexander Gvozdyk versus Hot Rod Kalajic, and I forgot the other fight. There was a third fight that I'm missing in my head, but I'll get to it. Zuffa had a card last weekend. Obviously, it was Callum Walsh versus Carlos Ocampo. what's your thoughts on kind of their cards? We'll talk about the networks next week, and we'll kind of talk about how they have been and their introduction. But the Zuffa cards, how it's all been styled, and what the events are like. Jide, your thoughts if you caught any of the Zuffa Boxing last week and the Zuffa Boxing fights that are on this week?
I'll be completely honest. I didn't really watch the Zuffa card last week. I'm not super interested in it this week. It's not because of a lack of of not wanting to watch them or whatnot, but for me, before I invest myself in another player,
Mm.
I need to see something in it. Like I need to see a card that's exciting. Again, I get what they're trying to do, but it's like you went from, oh, we're trying to do a UBO to, oh, we want to work with the governing bodies now. Oh, we're gonna start trying to poach the stars from Matchroom, Top Rank, PBs. Again, if you want to just do the normal promoting thing, cool. But it's like, what is their unique selling point except from, I know the kind of guys that are running it, and these guys do not like working with other promoters. So like, okay, they're trying to get you sick. They're trying to get banned. They're probably gonna get banned because Garcia's kind of like linked up
No,
with
they
Zuffa.
can't. They can't. So that's a big issue again when we talk about the networks and the contract signing, and because there's an article I read about the Zuffa Boxing contracts. I want to go into in detail.
Yeah.
Matchroom have matching rights, and they've matched the rights. So legally,
Okay.
Zuffa can't do anything.
Okay.
Because legally in the
Because
contract is, if you get a bigger offer and we match it, we have the rights to match it. You obviously have to go with us. That's part of the contract.
okay, cool. That's
Matchroom still
cool.
have retained BAM for now.
Yeah. But well, based on what Garcia was saying, it's like he wants my man to go to Zuffa. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is before I'm invested enough to be watching their cards and their production, I need to see a good fight in it. Like they're signing some fighters. When they get Jaya Pataya a fight, I'll watch. Or when they get and you know what? If people say I'm part of the problem, I'm not supporting these no names. Yeah, I am part of the problem. Like I personally, I don't want 5 or 6 big promoters in boxing because I've seen what it becomes, and I've seen what it's done. I loved it when everyone worked with Turkey. We're not getting that anymore. We're getting back to what the old days, and it's just like it's jaded me. So boy, I've not really been watching the Zuffa cards.
To be fair to them, this weekend's fights are not bad. You've obviously got Jose Valenzuela making his comeback, and he's always a good fighter to watch. You've got Sergey Bohachuk fighting Butayev, and that's going to be a really action-paced fight. And then you've got two light heavyweights of the Beterbiev Bivol era in Gvozdik versus Kaladzic, Hot Rod Kaladzic. Both have proved that they're still top, and I think they're not at the moment trying to be major players. They're just trying to be like, I think they're equivalent to kind of Pro Box, or just a better version of, or not a better version, but trying to be a bigger version of Pro Box at the moment, which is understandable because it's difficult to become a major player straight off the bat. And they kind of understood that they're not going to become a major player straight off the bat. So, Chris, is there any fight there that you're kind of interested in, or is it that's like, oh, it's just one of those ones where it's just one of those nights?
Similar to Jude, nothing's really interested me at the moment. If I do get an opportunity to, I'll lock in. Do you know what I mean? I'll check the fight in my travels. But nothing really reaches out to me or grabs me or makes me really want to lock in and, set up and watch the fights. Nothing like, the Shakur card. So I'll probably check the fights after the fact, but I won't really be checking for it or every single fight. I'll have a watch of maybe some highlights and maybe some of the bigger, more entertaining bouts. But other than that, nothing yet. Still yet to be properly impressed. And plus, I think I feel like with most non-boxing fans, I don't think the promotion has been quite there yet. Most of what I've seen has been from boxing circles, and it's usually not great stuff. It's usually complaints and whatnot about Zuffa and Dana White. But I feel once they get the bigger names headlining the cards, and you get your Jaya Pataya hopefully fighting someone with a pulse, then it'll be a bit more of a spectacle.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's weird. I'm going to go into detail, especially about Zuffa. There's a lot to kind of talk about, especially with how they've kind of introduced themselves and all the things kind of surrounding them. But yeah, loads of boxing to look forward to. One last thing I just want to cover is obviously Xander Zayas is fighting Abbas Barao in a unification fight at 154. All I've got to say about that fight is Xander Zayas is 23. The fact that he's having two world title fights back to back and he's unifying the division, and yet Boots and Ortiz can't get their shit together to get a fight between them. That's not even a title fight between the two of them. Is quite embarrassing. Like, this kid is picking up two of the world titles in your division, and the two of you are still messing around to the point where networks are pulling out of promotions. DAZN have pulled out of Golden Boy, aren't bothered to renew it. And now obviously Virgil Ortiz is suing Golden Boy. It's embarrassing because, like I said, Xander Zayas doesn't have half the promotion, half the backing. His fight's going to be on Top Rank on Facebook for us. Like, he doesn't have the network, nothing, but he's working. That I gotta give credit to that kid. Like, he ain't ducking nothing. Even when he wanted Fundora, what did Fundora say to him? Oh, we need to put a rehydration clause at 154. Like, these guys are divas and they actively screw a lot of opportunities. But I like the fact that Barao had, he beat Tellez, which was the MVP prospect, to win the world title. And loads of people would avoid that, especially, when someone's done an upset and beat a prospect. Zayas has just run straight into the fire. God, okay, if no one's going to take it, I get two belts here and I control half the division. So it gives me more of a standing here. And if anyone wants to come and get it, they can come and get it. We all like, most of us here like Boots and Ortiz, but Ortiz hasn't won a world title at all in his career. And this kid is now going to go up, and I think he'll win against Barao, and he's going to pick two up. Like, you lot got to get your shit together, because we're not in the age where you can still mess around. If you don't do it, networks pull out, and we'll talk about that. But I got to give credit to Zayas. He's like I said, he's going at it. That's an important fight as well for that division. So it's one to watch out for. And if you're in the UK, you get to watch it on Facebook for free. So that's good. And yeah, Zayas is one to watch out for, because he might not be an elite world beater, but the kid can box, and he's been touted since the start of his career. Chris, have you caught Zayas before? And is he someone that you're thinking maybe he could get the oomph over Boots and Ortiz when it comes to the fans, because he is working compared to
I've only seen a couple highlights of him. I've never watched a full fight. He looked good. He looked good from what I've seen. But again, it's hard to really gauge how good he is without seeing him against maybe more a bigger name fighter. But from what I've seen, he looks good. He looks like he'd be able to compete. I definitely wouldn't say he beats either of the two, but he looks like he could cause some problems, and he's young. And you know what it's like with these younger fighters, they can really have extraordinary nights where, they just catch the more experienced fighters off guard. We've seen it multiple times. But yeah, no, from what I've seen, he looks good, but I would like to see more for sure.
Jide, should Boots and Ortiz be a bit ashamed that a 23-year-old has just picked up the two belts in two back-to-back fights from under their noses?
Of course, especially Ortiz. Ortiz that was trying to style on Zayas and say, if we fight, I want the lion's share of the purse. I'm the A side. When you don't have a belt, you have nothing that Zayas wants. Let's do Mexico, Puerto Rico rivalry. But you've got nothing. And the kid didn't duck no smoke. He wanted a smoke, and Ortiz and Oscar came up with some bullshit. The same bullshit they're doing now with Boots. That's what they did with Zayas. And Zayas, like you said, he wanted Fundora. The guy came up with some fake shit. Thing is, Zayas is good. I'm not gonna say he's like the most polished, unbeatable fighter. He's not, but he's good. He's good. He's a good fighter. But we're in this era where there's no money in the sport. There's no more. There's networks have pulled out. The money in boxing is not there anymore. You need to make fight. You need to generate interest back in the sport. But we're dealing with guys who, in Fondora, they only want to fight Errol Spence. It's like they're bringing up guys that you're not going to ever fight. They're doing all these things instead of looking at guys in their weight class and, you know what, let's make this undisputed. They're not trying to do that. They're trying to cherry pick and manage their way
into being popular. And I won't lie, Fundora he caught lightning in a bottle twice by beating Tim Tszyu. That's why he's a name. For me, he shouldn't be a name because he was nobody. But now you're somebody. You don't want to fight Zayas. Ortiz as well. Ortiz, you're technically nobody, bro. You're only somebody because you're Mexican and guys, they thought you're good. Real spit, like he's really nobody, bro. You've done nothing, and you're ducking smoke. You were man. You were was it even his manager? But he was calling him out. He was talking crap, and he said, Zaya said, "Let's fight." You're like, I actually know. It's like he called his bluff, and Zaya was like, "Yeah, let's fight." Then it's like, "No, actually, you have to fight where I want to fight, and I'm gonna get the lion's share of the put." Like, what are we doing here? You can't call a man out and then start doing A-side politics. And this is the same crap he's doing with Boots. So yeah, Boots and Ortiz, they need to get their shit together. They're the names in the division. Unfortunately, they're the names, but they're the ones that have shown they got yellow in their bellies, bro. And like Zayas is the one guy who's like, you know what, I want to fight all these guys, but none of these guys want to fight him.
Yeah, perfectly well summed up. Look, it's going to be a stacked night. It's going to be interesting. Loads of fights to look out for. I can't wait to get through most of them. It's boxing again. We just need to get the fights done, and we need to watch them. Big fight, obviously, with Teo and Shakur. That's the main thing we're looking at, and hopefully, we get a result. I don't want to draw, obviously, but if it happens, it happens. But yeah, perfectly well summed up. I think, you know, these are the type of nights we need, just a bit more spaced out, of course, but some good fights to look out for. So make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and YouTube at Ringside Fracas and on Instagram at Ringside Fracas. And let us know your thoughts and comments, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.